today's is an Advent story leading up to Christmas. The 4 weeks leading up to Christmas are Advent, and so this is our first story of Advent. It's not a Bible story. It's actually a story from a wonderful book, The 7-Year Wonder Book by Isabel Wyatt. So, when we bring our song in, we'll ask the mother of the fairy tale to help us, but first we just need to remember that size doesn't really matter in these tellings. So a hunter this size could have this ginormous hound dog romping along beside him, and this one wouldn't take off in the woods while this one was left behind. They're actually in the same size, in the right size, and you have to use your imagination for that. Also, notice he doesn't have a face, so you get to decide what your hunter looks like. And finally, we bring our story in with a song. Mother of the fairy tale, lead me by the hand with you. Sail me in your silver boat to the land where dreams come true. This story is about Rufesi. Rufesi the fox. Sometimes we call him Foxy, sometimes we call him Rufesi. You'll hear both today. But Rufesi was the handsomest fox in the forest. And one of the things that a fox is most proud of is his very beautiful tail. Now, the tail has advantages for the fox. The fox is one of the fleetest runners. He's fast, fast, fast. And part of the reason that he's so fast is because he has such good balance. That tail helps him when he's running along. The tail balances with him, so he never falls over, even though he's going as fast as the wind. Well, our Rufesi liked nothing better than to sit in a beautiful meadow beside a pond where he could look at his reflection and notice how beautiful was his magnificent tail. But this particular day, trouble was lurking in the woods for our Foxy, for a huntsman had spied him sitting by his pond admiring himself, and the huntsman went off with his hound and told the other huntsmen to come, that there was good sport today in the forest, that they would be able to chase a fox. Not too long, and Foxy heard the sound of horses in the distance, still fairly far away, and also a hound dog. Oh, oh, oh. Also in the distance getting, and also the huntsman had hunting horns so they could say together, "Oh my goodness, very tuneful hunting horns." And Foxy knew enough to take off right away. He ran, and then he thought, aha, I will put them off my trail. I'll go through the river, and that will lose their trail. All the animals in the forest now had heard the hound dogs that were coming, and the horses that were coming, and the huntsmen who were getting closer. Oh my goodness, but no more tuneful, as you may have noticed. Foxy ran on. He went up into the woods, up into the woods, up into the woods, fast, 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 down the mountains in the woods, down the mountain, and then across the river. Again, he thought, I'll really fool him this time. Across the river, he went into a part of the forest he'd never been before. But closer and closer behind them, he could hear the hound dogs. Following his track, up and over. Oh my goodness. And right behind the hound dogs, the horses. Faster and faster they came, and with them, the huntsman getting closer and closer and closer. And no more tuneful than they ever were. Oh, know what to do. Now he was in a part of the forest that he'd never been before, and he was scared. And they were catching up. They wwere getting so close. All he could hear was cacophony sounds and noises from horses and dogs and huntsmen. He was terrified. And then he saw a very strange tree in the forest. And from behind the tree came a gnome. And the gnome said, "Foxy, Foxy, follow me down into the roots of my tree where I have my forest home. And you can hide as we go down, down, down into the roots of my tree." Well, they heard sniffing, and they heard horses, and they heard no more horn, and slowly the huntsmen and the hounds and the horses all seemed to go away, and Foxy felt safe with the gnome. As they looked around his house, Foxy could see that this was no ordinary home. No, indeed, in this home where the gnome lived was the spirit of Christmas. And Foxy said, "Why, you must be All-Wise, the Christmas gnome." And the gnome said, "Well, yes, I am. Foxy, come in and settle with me a while. You're so terribly out of breath. And see if you can't catch your breath, and we'll have something to eat. I was just lighting the first candle on my Advent wreath for the first Sunday in Advent. And I'm so glad you're here with me. And I was also doing a little fixing job on my Advent wreath. I was adding some of these greens to make it a little bit richer, a little bit greener." And Foxy said, "It's very beautiful in here, and I think perhaps you are the gnome that hands out a crown to the wisest forest creature every year. Is that right?" And the gnome said, "Yes." All-Wise said, "That's right. I hand out a green crown to the wisest forest creature." Foxy said, "Oh, I've heard about this. I wonder, could it be me? Could it be me? Am I the Foxy this year? Am I the wisest creature in the forest?" And the gnome said, "Foxy, let's think about that. Foxy, you were just in terrible trouble, chased by hounds and horses and huntsmen, and you almost got caught. Foxy, what happened today? Whose fault was it that you almost got caught in the forest?" Foxy said, "Oh, well, I don't know. 4 feet. Was it your fault that we didn't run fast enough in the forest?" And 4 feet said to Foxy, "Oh, Foxy, we ran as fast as ever we could." Foxy said, "Well, maybe it was 2 eyes. And 2 eyes said, no, we were keeping an eye out. And besides, you had us looking at your beautiful face and your beautiful tail in the pond. But as soon as we saw the huntsman, we told you right away." "Maybe it was 2 ears," said Foxy. "No," said Foxy. "It wasn't us," said 2 ears. "We listened, and as soon as we heard the huntsman, we also warned you, and we told you that they were getting closer and closer and closer." Foxy said, "Oh, well, maybe it was Tail." "Tail," said Foxy, "it was my fault, because when I ran through the river, I got muddy, and on the other side muddier, and then we ran through again and still muddier, and finally I was dragging and I was slowing you down, Foxy, although I didn't mean to." And Foxy said, "Aha! Tail, if you are guilty of slowing me down today, it's your fault, and I shall cut you off." "Oh, no, said the gnome. Let's just take those scissors out of here, Foxy, and think about that a little bit. Why did the tail get so muddy, Foxy? Well, I ran and I ran. I ran and then I ran through the river to put them off my trail. But when I got out of the river, I didn't shake out my tail like I always do to keep it clean so it could help me. And then I went through the river again and I came out, and again, I didn't shake my tail out. So really, I guess, all wise, I guess it's my fault today. And maybe that's why I'm not the wisest creature in the woods this year. And all wise gnome said, Foxy, I could tell that you were not a very grateful sort of fellow, because as soon as I invited you into my home, you didn't say, thank you for saving me. You just came on in. And that's fine, because you accepted help and you needed help. But we also need to say thanks, Foxy. And this year, the creature who was the most wise in the whole forest is Ruth Ginsbear, and she is wearing the crown of the all-wise creature this year. Oh, said Foxy, maybe some other year I could be the most wise creature in the forest. And the all-wise gnome said, Foxy, I think that may well be true. Maybe next year or the year after, as you learn to grow up and to be smart and to be thankful for all of your blessings. It's a good weekend for being thankful. All Wise showed Foxy how to get back out of his forest home. And Foxy went back to the forest where he lived. But now he was being grateful to all the servants, his paws and his eyes and his ears and his tail, for serving him so faithfully, and also to the stones under his feet, and also to the air that breathed and gave him life, and to the sun, which warmed him all day long, every day, different periods of time, but always the sun's warmth would remind him of the gratitude that he should feel in his heart for the life he'd been given. And that's the end. Mother of the fairy tale, lead me by the hand with you. Take me in your silver boat to the land where dreams come true.